Hello, today I will be talking about the Great East Japan earthquake that took place in Tohoku. Tohoku is located in the northeast Japan's Honshu Island, which is the largest island in Japan. On 11th March 2011, Tohoku experienced the biggest and strongest earthquake and tsunami ever recorded in Japan, based on an article by National Geographic. A journal written by Goto et al. In 2020 mentioned that the earthquake that took place has a magnitude of 9.0, which leads to a tsunami that was at a run-up height of about 40 meters. Some of the prefecture that was affected in this disaster was Iwate, Miyagi, and also Fukushima. According to Asian Disaster Reduction Center, 11,452 individuals were reported missing and 14,508 deaths was recorded. 92.5% of the death resulted from drowning. The highest tsunami wave recorded in this disaster, which is 38.9 meters, was at Miyako City in Iwate Prefecture. A survey conducted by the Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology shows that in many coastal areas, the tsunami reached the height of about 14 to 15 meters. As a result from this disaster, there were many downfalls that we can see in various aspects, such as the economy and also the loss of a place to live in. The casualties also bring sorrows to the families involved.
I will explain the source of the earthquake. Do you know what triggers the earthquake? According to Rafferty, it is due to the rupture of a stretch of the subduction zone associated with the Japan Trench, which detached the Eurasian plate from the subducting Pacific plates. Along this particular subduction zone, two of Earth's tectonic plates collided, and both plates were rough and sticking together, building up energy that was released as earthquake. The shaking lasted for about 6 minutes, and as soon as the earthquake ended, the scientists discovered a thin, slippery clay layer lining the fault, and they estimated that the clay layer allowed the two plates to slide in a huge distance of 50 meters, resulting in an enormous earthquake and tsunami. One of the impacts from the tsunami was a cooling system failure at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, which caused level 7 nuclear meltdown and the release of radioactive materials such as cesium in Tohoku. The nuclear power plant lost its cooling capabilities, and the electrical power and backup generators were overwhelmed by the tsunami. The earthquake was also responsible for considerable damage over a wide area. The infrastructure also was heavily affected throughout eastern Tohoku, as roads and rail lines were damaged, electric power was knocked out, and water and sewerage systems were disrupted. 6 months after the earthquake, around 15,000 people had died from the earthquake and 4,000 people were still missing. More than 90% of deaths were caused by drowning during the tsunami. The direct economic loss from the earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear disaster was estimated at $360 billion.
Hi Dr. Tay, I am Nurfakia binti Ibrahim, and for my part I will discuss on the mitigation strategies. Here I just want to emphasize that Japan is known to be one of the most tsunami frequent countries in the world. Therefore, many mitigation plans has been drawn by the government in order to mitigate the potential impacts and also to protect human life and property damage. The mitigation strategy is classified as structural and non-structural. For structural countermeasure, the concept of multi-defense line is adapted to agriculture area, residential area, and fish industry. The advantage of these multi-defense lines helps to reduce the tsunami impact that is effective for human life protection. Next, the construction of offshore breakwater in the sea. We can see that with the construction of offshore breakwater, the water run-up height is 10 meter compared to without breakwater, which is 20.2 meter. Therefore, the breakwater will prevent the houses or buildings from washing out by the high pressure of the tsunami. The next figure shows how the structural design of breakwater. B is known to be more effective than A in order to mitigate tsunami. For non-structural approach with the concept of green embankment, they plant mangrove tree to shield against tsunami. With the vegetation, the houses lack damage compared without vegetation, as the area is not directly affected by the high energy of the tsunami, and also the tree can trap all the objects that is being washed away by the overflow of the water. Other approach to mitigate tsunami and earthquake in Tohoku is using warning system. This warning system able to detect the tsunami or earthquake at a certain area so that people are aware when the tsunami or earthquake will occur. Next, practice land use management with lowering the population at the hazard area, for example near the sea, because this area is high potential to be affected with tsunami or earthquake. In short, this mitigation plan helps to reduce the fatality of human life and also protect the building or infrastructure from damage, because this natural disaster cannot be eliminated, but we as a human can only come up with this mitigation to reduce the impact in our life.
In order to reduce the amount of damage done by the earthquake and tsunami, improvement plan need to be done, and one of it is to use self-elevating seawall with pneumatic casing structure. Figure 2 show the installation of the seawall. A big steel shield will be embedded into the seabed near the opening of the port, and a casing equipment is installed next to the steel shield. This steel shield will act as a big gate that will rise up when a big tsunami happens. Takagi and Otsuki in 2020 state that this seawall is cheap and also does not require any energy to work. This seawall also does not have any height limit because it depends on the water buoyancy to work. Another improvement plan that can be done is to create a community with a higher resilience towards tsunami. The government can teach to residents who live in the coastal area or near the sea on the basic information about the tsunami, a method of a faster evacuation plan, a safer escape route, and also possible tsunami risk so that less people will die because of this natural disaster. This can be shown by the example of Elmore community during 2010 Chile earthquake. Moreno et al. In 2019 state that this community had survived the attack despite receiving late notice from the government. This community had survived because they are strong enough to survive in a hilltop with a limited food supply, and they are knowledgeable in handling difficult situations. Therefore, this too is good improvement plan that can be done for the tsunami case.
For SDG 6, which is clean water and sanitation, the majority of residential wastewater is grey water produced through processes like laundry, other kitchen wastewater, and bathroom. Inadequate sanitation can result in cholera epidemic and other disease. It doesn't need the same treatment process because it contains few to no bacteria and 90% less nitrogen than black water, which are known as toilet water. Grey water may be used for irrigation and exterior washing without pre-treatment by constructing plumbing system to distinguish it from black water. It is necessary not to store the use of grey water immediately in order to prevent deterioration of its efficiency. Reduced waste usage, a lower load for septic tank or treatment plant, reduced energy use, and healthy plant growth are the advantage of reusing grey water. If a new house is planned, the house wastewater treatment system can be greatly decreased, resulting in cost saving and a lower effect on the environment as water is conserved. Lastly, for SDG 7, which is affordable and clean energy. Traditionally, energy is supplied either as electricity from power grid, smaller diesel power electricity generator, or as a gas, coal, or firewood for heating purpose. However, these energy sources are becoming costly and can also introduce an indoor health threat in the case of coal or firewood for heating purpose. Energy use can, as much as possible, be minimized by good planning and building design, as well as the use of renewable resources such as solar, wind and hydropower, geothermal and biopower system. Here come the advantage of using renewable energy. include long-term sustainable market stability, reduced susceptibility to disruption of fuel supply, and decreased greenhouse gas emission. The Maldives is an example of a country that is highly dependent on oil, nearly 100%. As a result, the country is vulnerable to disruption in oil supply and price fluctuation. Since the nation straddles the equator and has consistently strong sunlight, an alternative is to produce electricity to meet future energy needs through communal or individual photovoltaic panel.
Okay, earthquakes are not new to the world. It is a very common thing on many parts of the earth. Japan is the constant victim of earthquake. The historical experience of Japan can serve as a lesson for the rest of the globe. No region or nation is excluded from, and no country can avoid natural disaster from happening. However, everyone should brace themselves by learning as much as possible about the risk and effect of devastating incidents and by taking educated decisions to handle both better. Disaster prevention is becoming increasingly necessary as the global economy becomes more integrated, environmental conditions change, and population density increase in urban areas worldwide. Proactive risk management methods can reduce the loss of human life and urban economy and financial setback as Great East Japan earthquake has shown. To be maximally efficient and contribute to long-term stability, the group natural disaster risk management should be mainstreamed into all areas of development planning in all economic sectors and guided by local knowledge, contacts, and risk. Surprisingly, learning from the experience can motivate creativity. Thank you.